So this is
Able to
Jake.
eat now.
This is Jake from BD.
Yep. So we'll cover just some quick things today, chloroprep and Arista. So just a couple reminders on chloroprep. Obviously you guys know how to do it. You guys have done it for a while. There's nothing new with it, but a couple key reminders. So this is the 10.5 milliliter. So usually in surgery you use the 26, but all you need to do is crack it one time. You don't need to shake it. Gravity will work. And when you see about like a dime size orange dot on the bottom, then you can push it a little bit and that'll help get the fluid to come out. When you're scrubbing, obviously start on the incision site, 30 seconds minimal on the incision site if it's a dry site, and if it's like a wet site like armpits, groin, some of the folds, it'll be at least 2 minutes of scrub. And then when you're done scrubbing for 30 minutes, and the scrub is important, like back and forth friction, that's what drives that CHG down into the skin, then you start to work away from the surgical site and you make sure to not come back to the surgical site. So we recommend going in a square outside of the surgical site, and do not come back to the surgical site. If you feel like you need to return to the surgical site, pop a new chloroprep. There was the cheapest thing in the OR. So pop a new one and then you can come back to the surgical site and scrub again. But work away. The 10.5 milliliter is designed for like head and neck area. The 26 ml, which is what you guys will typically use, covers about like a large pizza box surface. So when you get outside of that large pizza box surface, about 13 by 13 inches, you may still get some fluid coming out of here that's orange. That is just going to be the dye that is actually in the chloroprep. It's not actually the CHG. So if you feel like you've gone more than 13 by 13, pop another one and use it. Again, they are the cheapest thing in the OR, so it's better to just use another one than to risk infection. Dry time is 3 minutes if it's a hairless site, and then for a site that has hair, it could take up to an hour. You got to wait until the hair is dry. It does have alcohol in it, so it's a fire source. So be very careful with the hair spots in the dry time. That is something that is serious. I've seen fires. Any questions on the chloroprep? No? Okay. And then this is Arista. It's just a potato starch, basically. It's a sterilized powder, hydrolyzed potato starch. Obviously to open, you peel it open, pop the cap, and then I always tell the docs or the techs, whoever's using it, to not touch the tissue, because if you touch the tissue, it could clog the top. So hold it away, and it is the safest hemostatic powder on the market. Its method of action is just dehydration. So it just soaks up all the water and congregates the clotting proteins to speed up the body's own coagulation process and creates a 20% stronger clot. So that's in and out of the body in 1 to 2 days, whereas some competitors are 1 to 2 weeks, and it just breaks down as a sugar. And you can use it on diabetic patients as well. There won't be a spike in insulin. Obviously these are the tips. It just goes onto the top. We don't need to cover that. And then this is Surgiphor, not here yet, but it's a wound irrigation. So it's the only terminally sterile premixed betadine on the market. The bottles that you guys have or the packets, those aren't sterile any longer. And so this is a sterilized option. Comes in a typical sterile peel pack. You open it up, you screw the cap on. When you screw the cap on, that'll puncture the top, and this will actually give you some pressure while irrigating. It's 0.5% PVPI, 99.5% saline, and then some vitamin E to keep it mixed and then also help with tissue healing as well. Any questions? Nope. Awesome. I think that was record time.